All right, this time we have Logan. All right, Logan, you ready?
I'm ready. Hey everyone, I'm Logan.
Hi, Logan.
All right, when it goes full screen, you're on. What did you have for breakfast today, by the way?
Starbucks.
Starbucks. There you go.
Gouda bacon,
Breakfast.
turkey bacon sandwich.
Breakfast of champions.
Wrong.
Okay, I want to tell you a story about a farmer, his tractor, and Olive Garden. My name is Logan. Credit goes to Shannon Crew for the story. I've weaved in some topics that I want to talk about. So I'm going to frame this from, I get to work with, as a consultant, I get to work with a lot of leaders, okay? And so from their perspective, DevOps is this big tangled thing that they're trying to understand. And so when I get to talk to them, I have to teach them to lead in a systems thinking manner, right? So that's a key tenet of DevOps, right? So I'm going to pick on Jenkins for the rest of the time. Raise your hand if you use Jenkins. Everybody. What Jenkins doesn't do very well, and maybe some of you will agree and some of you won't, it doesn't really give you a good end-to-end picture of how to do things or what's going on in your system, right? So that the farmer has a tractor. Farmer is somebody on a team. Tractor is Jenkins, okay? They're limited in their thinking because they're typically automating things that are very specific, okay? And it's very hard to put them all together. Whereas Olive Garden, or your leadership, CEO on down, has a different perspective. They want to see everything in a holistic way and understand and get metrics about it. So Jenkins is really good, like I said, at a couple things. It's actually really good at a lot of things, but it doesn't actually know how to prove you're moving business value from one end to the other, right? So what is motivating your changes? So thinking holistically, when you're talking about a tool like Jenkins, ask yourself, especially when you're talking to leadership or trying to prove something to leadership, how effectively are you delivering software, okay? And in general, this isn't a criticism, but it's because we focus on what we're trying to work on, and I'm guilty of this as well. We don't think holistically. So I challenge all of you right here, right now, think holistically, have a systems view, right? So the goal of leadership is to try to drive vision and try to make decisions based on real data, right? So ultimately, you're trying to prove to your leadership, especially when you start talking about tools and what you want to do from an automation perspective, or cultural changes, you have to prove to them that there's going to be value in that, right? So how do we get past this? Well, we have this notion, sometimes we have guardrails, sometimes leadership doesn't really give us a good vision for how they want us to think outside of the box. And so we're stuck, we need their help. We've seen this picture before. We have DevOps teams that have this problem, right? We have DevOps engineers that are just another silo in the process, not intentionally, but because as I'm coaching, leadership doesn't set that good vision. And we get to this point where we still have silos. As a consultant for Agile teams, I often see Agile and DevOps mixed together. And what I don't agree with is that people think that intersection point is small. We'll see in a second that it's not. But when we want to think outside of the box, we need to focus on ideas and capabilities. And we need to be able to make data-driven decisions. So this is what I believe the intersection of Agile and DevOps is. Agile is just a component. DevOps is the extension of Lean and other things that came before it, right? And they can't live without each other. And organizations that are trying to do both, I'm coaching them to try to utilize both frameworks and both cultures to do what they need because they're really the same. And so providing a taste of data-driven DevOps to leaders is how to get them to turn their head in a direction that you want it to go. Another key thing, do you know your value stream? Have you mapped out every single thing that happens? Manual, automated? Can you validate it? Are there metrics you want to collect for those data-driven decisions, right? And then the final key, how are you providing that end-to-end view of business value? So can you say, I can trace everything back to an idea that we have released to an end user or that we're trying to monitor in operations, right? And so ultimately we get to system thinking breeds continuous improvement. Because if you have a holistic view, you're monitoring each part or all parts of your process, and so you have retrospectives, and you're thinking about what you can improve all along the way, and you're on a journey to make your organization or your team or yourself epic.
All right. Great job.